The small town of Ridgewood was the kind of place where everyone thought they knew everyone else's life. Every porch light, every garden, every mailbox told a story, or so people believed. But the truth, as it always does, had a way of hiding in plain sight. Elena Monroe lived alone in a modest house on Elm Street. She was quiet, polite, the kind of woman who waved but never lingered. People whispered that she had secrets. Of course, they always do, but no one could place what they were. She worked at the local library, stacking shelves and organizing community events, smiling softly at children and strangers alike. She had no family nearby, no husband, no one who came to visit her, and the townspeople in their busy lives mostly left her alone. One rainy evening, a knock came at her door. Elena frowned. It wasn't usual for anyone to visit, especially at this hour. Standing there was a young man, soaked from the rain, his eyes wide with desperation. "Please, I don't know who else to turn to," he said, his voice trembling. He introduced himself as Daniel, a journalist investigating a series of mysterious disappearances in nearby towns. "I think someone is covering up something." "Dangerous," he whispered. Elena studied him, the rain dripping down his jacket. She hesitated, then stepped aside. "Come in," she said. Once inside, Daniel pulled out a folder full of papers, photographs, and notes. He spoke quickly, urgently, about a man named Victor Harlow, a wealthy developer who had arrived in Ridgewood years ago. Daniel believed Victor was hiding something sinister, possibly responsible for the disappearance of multiple people, including a young woman whose case had gone cold. Elena listened in silence, nodding occasionally. Something in Daniel's voice stirred memories she had buried long ago, memories she had never spoken of to anyone. Finally, after hours of rain-pounding silence outside, Elena spoke. "I know him," she said softly. Daniel froze. "I know things no one suspects." Her hands trembled slightly as she retrieved a small, weathered box from beneath her bed. Inside were old photographs, letters, and a leather-bound journal. Pages worn thin with age revealed secrets of Victor's past. Business, dealings that masked darker truth, connections to unsolved cases, and notes about people who had vanished under mysterious circumstances. Elena's voice grew stronger as she spoke. "I was young when I discovered the truth. I tried to tell someone, but no one believed me. Victor had power, influence, connections. I had nothing. So I hid, I watched, I waited." Daniel's eyes widened as he flipped through the journal. Names, dates, locations, all pointing to a dangerous pattern. "Why tell me now?" he asked. Elena's eyes glimmered with sorrow and resolve. "Because it's coming full circle. He's planning something bigger. And someone has to stop it before more people get hurt. You might be the only one who can help." Over the next few days, Daniel and Elena worked in secret, retracing Victor's steps. They discovered hidden properties, fake identities, and coded messages only someone who had studied Victor's moves closely could decode. Every clue brought them closer to the truth, and every discovery added a layer of danger. They realized Victor's reach extended into law enforcement, politics, and business, people who could easily dismiss accusations as paranoia. The deeper they dug, the more they understood why Elena had remained silent for so long. One night, as they pored over a series of financial records in Elena's dimly lit living room, a knock at the door froze them both. Through the window they saw two men in black suits, faces obscured. Panic set in. Daniel grabbed the journal. Elena held a small but heavy letter opener, her hand steady despite the fear in her chest. They knew they were being watched, and that Victor had been aware of someone uncovering his secrets for years. But Elena was not afraid anymore. "It's time people knew," she whispered. Together they devised a plan to expose the truth, digital copies of the journal and evidence uploaded to encrypted networks, messages sent to journalists and authorities who couldn't be easily corrupted. Every heartbeat felt like a countdown, every shadow a possible threat. The night they released the information, Ridgewood woke to a storm, not of rain but of revelations. Victor's empire crumbled, authorities scrambled, and media outlets exploded with the uncovered truths. People who had been missing or silenced were remembered. People who had been complicit faced scrutiny. Elena watched from her window, a strange mix of relief and sorrow in her chest. The truth was out, but it had cost her years of silence, solitude, and fear. Daniel approached her the next morning, smiling for the first time since he arrived in Ridgewood. "You did it," he said softly. You exposed it all. Elena nodded, her eyes glistening with tears. Sometimes, she whispered, the truth is hidden not because it's impossible to find, but because the world isn't ready to see it. But now it has no choice. From that day forward, Elena was no longer invisible. She became a quiet hero, a symbol of courage and patience, the woman who had endured years of silence to bring justice. And as the sun rose over Ridgewood, the town itself seemed to breathe differently, as if it, too, had finally learned the value of uncovering hidden truths. The end of this chapter may feel like a story concluded, but for Elena and Daniel, the work had just begun, a reminder that the world is full of hidden truths, waiting for someone brave enough to reveal them.